Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda, Namanda, Namanda. Good morning, everyone. My name is Alex Sakamoto, and I am grateful to be here sharing my appreciation of the Dharma with you all this morning. It's hard to believe that we are already heading into August. I think, like many of you, I am especially thankful to be sitting here in this air-conditioned Hondo today. This past week has been insanely warm, not just in Seattle, but across the country and world. It seems like over the past few years, it has become a more regular occurrence to have temperatures reach the mid-90s. Growing up, I remember 75 to 80 degrees being uncomfortably warm for the Pacific Northwest. With the rise in temperatures, many people, including myself, enjoy going to the pool, doing other outdoor activities. However, I think there's another important aspect to this that we need to recognize, and kind of the cause for these rising temperatures. As we know, Seattle has historically never been this warm, and year over year, it's only getting warmer. When I scroll through social media or watch the news, many people are contributing these rising temperatures to climate change. While we in the Pacific Northwest region are experiencing these extreme temperatures this past week and throughout the summer, those in Kentucky recently are facing the aftermath of a historic flood that left many people without power, food, or shelter. Across the world, people are experiencing triple-digit temperatures, such as in the UK, and sweeping wildfires that have wiped out homes, as well as many people's food supply. I think it's safe to say that we are in a climate emergency. When I hear the word climate emergency, I expect there to be a lot of talks, amongst others, news coverage, and so on. Yet that doesn't seem to be the case. There doesn't seem to be much attention on this subject as there are for other current events going on in the world, such as the COVID pandemic, the war in Ukraine, or the rising inflation rates. Now, I'm not someone who regularly watches the evening news, and I get much of my news from word of mouth or social media. But I think it's especially important that my generation begins to take climate change as a serious issue. Now, I must admit, prior to writing this Dharma message, I myself had not put much thought into how I can be more environmentally friendly and aid in this climate emergency. I think the only time that I seriously reflect or put some thought into this may be during Earth Day, when we come to service and hear a meaningful Dharma message. With everything going on in our daily lives, I think it's easy to put aside. However, in order for us to see change, we need to adapt our mindsets. Buddhism constantly reminds us to reflect on our lives and the impact our actions have on others. When I think of this, I usually think of the impacts my actions have on other living beings, human beings. But I think another important piece to this is the impact our actions have on our physical environment. It's easy to think that one plastic bag or cup won't do too much harm and rather serve as a convenience to us. But I also need to recognize myself that if each one of us shares that same mindset, we will never make significant change. Instead, we will only see the climate emergency grow. And I think specifically right now is an important time for us to reflect on this, not only because of all the natural disasters that are happening around the world, but also as we start to recover from the COVID pandemic, we need to think about our impact and our daily use, because during COVID, in order to stop the spread, we saw a lot of disposable utensils, single-use items. Many grocery stores stopped bagging your groceries in your reusable bags. So now is the time for us to kind of reflect on that. In our Buddhist tradition, we do our best to practice mindfulness on a daily basis. In Jodo Shinshu, mindfulness can be seen as listening to the Nembutsu and expressing deep gratitude in our everyday actions. Bowing before entering the Hondo and approaching Amida Buddha can be seen as a form of mindfulness and reflection. For me personally, it's become a habit to do these things, bowing before entering the Hondo, reciting the Nembutsu. But when I'm not at temple, I think I begin to lose touch of my mindfulness in my everyday actions. And I think that by becoming more aware of our actions, we can all help to solve this climate emergency. Right now, it may seem scary seeing all the wildfires, floods, and extreme temperatures. There is a lot of concerns from citizens around the world, as well as world leaders. We must remember that everything is interconnected. Our actions have an effect on others. One of the things I'm most grateful for is our Sangha, Seattle Betsuin Sangha. Reverend Castro was the pioneer of the Eco-Sangha movement, encouraging us to be conscious of our impact on the environment and even bringing forward this issue on a national level to the Buddhist churches of America. Our temple was quick to adopt environmentally friendly practices, such as replacing styrofoam and plastic products with compostable products. It's encouraging to see these actions being taken within our own religious community. Across the world, we are also seeing many countries and some of the largest corporations pledging to reach net zero emissions in the near future. Now it is up to us. How can each of us individually contribute to solve this problem? How can we apply mindfulness in our everyday lives to make an impact? With everything going on currently, now is the perfect time, if you haven't already, to apply Buddhist teachings in our daily lives to work towards the welfare of our planet. I'd like to share a quote from Reverend Castro that can be found on his Eco-Sangha website. To be a Buddhist is to be both an ecologist and a conservationist. This is the vision Eco-Sangha strives to promote. It is a vision modeled on the Buddha as the great physician who is called to the service of those in pain and suffering, who scientifically investigates the nature of and prognosis from an ailment and then compassionately effects a cure. The progression from symptom to cure is presented by the Buddha in his fundamental teaching of the Four Noble Truths: symptom, diagnosis, prognosis, and cure. In terms of ecology, the Buddha fully understands the problem of our Earth in crisis. His insight of non-duality and interdependence are applied on a cosmic scale. To conclude my Dharma message, please join me in Gassho. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda, 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 Namanda. Thank you.